today I want to talk about Esau. And I just want to share with you a little bit. I did another video about Jacob and kind of, went through the flesh and the spirit and why Jacob, I believe, is not a deceiver and has gotten a bad rap for being called a deceiver. Everywhere you hear Jacob, he's the deceiver. And I just disagree with that. If you haven't seen it, will you look at it and give me your opinion on it? Tell me what you think. Because I just don't want to be calling Jacob a deceiver. He did an amazing work for God. And I just think it's horrible that somehow, he got a bad name. He got called a deceiver. It's just like the enemy. He just constantly tries to take over everything and perverts it and distorts it, twists it and distorts it to try to make it somehow his. And I'm just done with that. I'm done with that. I believe that as sons of God, as daughters of the Most High God, that's our job to take it back from the enemy. We have to take back what he steals. He doesn't get to steal it. He doesn't get to take God's people that lay their life down and twist and distort and make them evil. And he's done it since the beginning of time, and he's still doing it today. And I just say no. I say no. I refuse it. You tell me. Please tell me what you think. Do you agree with me on this or not? I'm just done with it. I'm just done with it. I don't know who's done all this, but somehow the enemy has come in and, look at Rehoboam. Rehoboam, the same thing. I'm like, how did Rehoboam get such a bad name? I don't understand it. I'm going to do a video just on Rehoboam. I did do it partially in one of my other videos. I forget right now which one it was. But anyway, it's frustrating to me. Right? Don't you hate it? I don't like that the enemy stole the rainbow. I just, no. The answer's no. The answer is no. I know these things might seem, insignificant. I suppose a lot of people say to me, what does that matter? What does it matter? I think it matters a lot. I think it matters a lot because the serpent is little by little trying to take the place of God. And he's done it so much in our understanding, in our teaching, the things that we've been taught, just subtly. And it's like the answer's no. You cannot have the rainbow. You cannot make Jacob a deceiver. You cannot make Rehoboam, an evil, money-hungry king so far from the truth. You just know. You can't put the devil in the second heaven. No, he's not there. He is in the first heaven. Let him in the field. He can be in the field. He's not going to be in the promised land. He is not going to be in the garden. No. The answer is no. Anyway, enough of my ranting, right? My goodness, it's frustrating. Anyway, Esau. If you haven't watched the Jacob one, would you mind to do that? Because I said a whole lot in there. But Esau, what I wanted to point out in here with Esau is that in Psalms 83:6 and down, it talks about these enemies of God. And it says that these enemies have lifted their heads up against God and against his hidden ones, which I'm going to do a video on that next, right in this time frame. It So I want to share something really special with you guys about that. And so he says, and then he lists, these are the enemies that have lifted up their head against God, the enemies of God. And the first one is Edom. The first enemy of God is Edom. And so I want to go to Genesis 25:29. And it's where Jacob he made porridge. And Esau came in from the field, and he was faint. And Esau says to Jacob, feed me, I pray thee, with the same red pottage, for I am faint. Therefore was his name called Edom. Therefore was his name called Edom. Why was his name called Edom? Not because he ate the pottage. No, his name is called Edom because he said, I am faint. It says, wait, let me just show you this. Feed me, I pray thee, with the same red pottage, for I am faint. Therefore was his name called Edom. The word faint means to be thirsty, to be weary, right? To be languish. When Jesus was on the cross, what did he say? When he took on the sins of man, what did he say? I thirst. I thirst. He took on Esau. He took on the flesh. We know that, right, from Deborah in Judges 5, where she says, proclaims at the very beginning, attesting to the war, the end-time war. I saw the Lord come out from Mount Seir, and he marched across the fields of Edom. Right? Edom. It actually means a condiment. And we said this in the Jacob one. It means a condiment, like something that you put on, like the flesh. The flesh was put on man, right? That's why God put animal skins on Adam after he fell. That's why Adam put on the fig leaf and covered his private parts. Now he knew he was naked, and that's why Jesus cursed that fig tree. May you never bear fruit ever again, right? I mean, probably one perspective of why. Anyway, all right. So Esau gets the name. He becomes Edom, a condiment, a covering of the flesh, the man of the flesh, right? That's why Jacob has to put on the hairy skins, man of the flesh. Jesus comes out from Mount Seir, walks across the fields of Edom. The Son of God comes in the flesh, right? Puts on the skins of mankind, the first Adam, right? Becomes the second Adam, right? Restoration to give us back the right of the firstborn, right? Of Adam, how he was originally created in the garden, right? Okay, so Esau comes and says, I've come in from the field of hunting, to be a hunter, right? And I'm faint. Give me some of your stew. And Jacob says, well, I'm not going to give it to you. I'll sell it to you. I will sell it to you for your birthright. And Esau, not having any clue of who he was in the Lord, eyes of his understanding being completely darkened by the covering of the flesh, that your eyes are blinded, right? That you, like Paul, when Saul became Paul, and Ananias prayed over him, scales fell from his eyes. Those scales are the skins of the serpent, the covering of the flesh of man, blinding, darkening our understanding. That's what happened to Adam at the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. When he ate of the apple, changing the DNA of man, right? It says his eyes were, that the root of the word tree means to fasten the eyes shut. His spiritual eyes were fastened shut, blinded in darkness, right? Okay, so Esau tells Jacob, I'm faint. What good is my birthright? It means nothing to me. If I die, I'm going to die, right? He has a mindset of the flesh. He is weary. He is thirsty. He is languid, right? There is, and that's how he becomes Edom. Well, that is, I believe, that spirit that dwells in the flesh, that old serpent that puts scales on your eyes. Well, guess where he's also shows up? Guess where else he is? We find him taking down one of the strongest sons of God that God made, Samson. Yeah, Samson. That same languishing spirit that was on Esau, that same spirit was working through Miss Delilah. Because Delilah's name means to be low or to languish. So Samson, the strongest man of God, falls under that same spirit, that same flesh. He becomes a man of the flesh. And what happens to Samson? In the end, his eyes get taken out. He becomes blind, that he cannot see. Right? The same thing happens to Samson. It says to bring low, to dry up, to be emptied, not be equal, to fail, to be impoverished, to be made thin. The root of that is to be feeble, oppressed, to bring low. But it's the same thing, right? That's what happened to Samson. The story of, I did a video actually on Samson a while ago. It wasn't about this part of it, but it's one of my favorite videos, one of my favorite things that the Lord showed me, taught me. Anyway, same thing happened to Samson. When we have a choice here in the field to either sit under the tabernacle of the Lord, in the presence of the Lord, in the eyes of our understanding, and taking back everything the devil has stolen, right? Supplanting, standing, taking the place of another. No, sorry, devil. That's not yours. You don't get to have it. That belongs to my Father. That belongs to my Father's sons. You are not having it, right? Supplanting. Jacob supplants the right of the firstborn. Sells it. Esau sells it. Has no understanding of who he is. How God created him, because he is busy in the field like Cain. He is busy on the hunt in his own strength, in his own understanding. Right? And just like then is the same today. It's the same today. And it's so easy to fall into. It's just so easy to fall into. Every single day you have to make the choice. Are you going to be able to worship God, spend time with Him, to make Him important, to wait upon Him, that the eyes of your understanding would be enlightened, right? You're going to be able to rise up into the fullness of the stature of Christ on earth as it is in heaven. That He gave us the power to do, believing who we are in Him because He says it. Or are we going to be like Cain and we can't? We just don't have time. We just don't understand. It's just, it's difficult to understand. I don't have time. I have to do this. I have to do that. I've got to be on the hunt for my life, for my substance, my sustenance, and my life, my Philistine life, right? We are able. We are not can'ts, can't do it. Like Esau, I'm faint, I'm gonna die, right? No. We have to make that choice. I've been hearing so much, and my friend and I, Linny, were talking about this, about, everybody in the church is now saying, well, we can't do anything. Unless God does it, it's not going to get done. And I understand that. Trust me, I understand that better than anybody. But we have to make it something that we do, that we believe Him, that we go before Him, that we wait upon Him, that we worship Him, that we put our hands to it. We put our hands to the plow, and He moves us. But unless we put our hands to the plow, nothing's getting moved. Nothing. Father is not going to just move us. Yes, He does come to us. He sends people to us, but those people had to put their hand to the plow, right? We have to make decisions. We have to choose who we're going to believe, choose who we're going to example ourselves after, right? We have to discern. There's a lot that we have to do. And so, I understand it, but I'm just saying, be careful with just saying, well, praise God, He's done it, so therefore, we got to press into this thing. We got to do stuff. We have to. We have to put our hand to the plow. We have to. We have to. You got to clean your house. No one's not going to just get cleaned. You got to make your husband dinner, like my friend Linny said. Someone's got to make the dinner. Someone's got, right? Okay, that's it for today. I just wanted to share this to you, with you, about Edom, Esau, how he became Edom, how he became a man of the flesh. He literally took it on when he said, I am faint. My birthright means nothing to me. I'm faint. And I understand that. I understand that. I know you do too. I know all of us battle that. I know, sickness comes, and it's hard. I went through a season not too long ago, like the last 3 years ago. I somehow got H. pylori. I think it was from, I was buying expensive water, but they were not cleaning the bottles properly because I, too late, found mildew, black mildew in it. And when I went back to tell them, they were gone. In the middle of the night, they were gone. So they probably got other people. But anyway, I suffered for 3 years. The first doctor I went to, I told him, I asked him, not knowing, but I just knew in my spirit. I said to him, can you treat me for H. pylori? And he said, I'm sorry, we can't do that. But he never tested me. I went to 5 doctors, never tested, till finally they did a scope. And I came out and he said, you're fine, you just have H. pylori. Can you believe that? Well, what it did during that almost 3 years, you know, when I started doing my Shabbat, it was fine in the very beginning. And then I got sick. And I prayed and prayed and prayed for Father to heal me. And all he would say to me is, I will heal you. So I knew there was something that he was going to use that for. And what he did is, you know, at that same time as when I got my grandson, and I got him under, he was battling autism. And I was so weak. I was doing my shows. You can see in the shows I got really thin. I just lost weight like within 2 weeks. I was 12 pounds thinner, and that's a lot for me. But anyway, I would do those shows by faith. I would not let the devil stop me as much as possible. Sometimes I would do a show with every breath that I had, and then, you know, by faith. And I would many times went into my garage and got on my knees, because at the same time I was caring for a 7-month-old up until 2.5, finding out that he was battling autism because he was really so naughty. And I would go in the garage and I would cry. I would cry and I would tell Father, I think I'm going to die. I don't know what's going on, but it feels like I'm going to die. And I would just cry and cry. And I'll be honest with you, Father did not, he did not comfort me in my pain. He didn't. He said to me, he responded as I was crying, telling him I was going to die, I'm going to die. I felt like that. I felt like Esau. And he said to me, you're a lot stronger than you think you are. Rise up, my daughter. And I was like, what? And there was nothing for me to do but to believe him, to get up and to say, let the weak say, I am strong. Let the weak say, I am strong. And do the works of one who is strong as much as I possibly could. And after 3 years of barely being able to eat foods, you know, I was accused of having an eating disorder. It's like, yeah, okay, can barely eat anything, because what happens in the tummy is it gets really bad, inflamed, and then it affects a bronchial tube, and so then you feel like you can barely breathe, you're out of breath, so you feel very weak. But, you know, just, it's okay. We know people don't understand everything we go through unless they're inside your body. But little by little, little by little by little, I got my strength back, and I could start eating meat and gaining that strength and eating more food. Still, I can't eat everything. It's hard for me to eat a lot of carbohydrates, but I did gain all my weight back, and I do feel very strong today. And Father has healed me. He has been faithful to his word. I'm sorry. It's just sometimes, you know, he lets us realize how he created us. and even through great weakness. That's why I think, Esau, what he did was, he gave into it. He sold his birthright. He just, And Father says, Jacob I have loved, and Esau I have hated. That is so severe, to be hated by God. He hates Esau's weapons, his hunting gear, his bow and his arrows, and he hates it. He hates the works of the flesh. And he also hates it when we succumb to the nature of it and the fruit that it produces in us of being blind and thirsty and weary, right? And anyway, all that to say, let the weak say, I am strong, right? Okay, that's it for today. Okay, leave me a comment. Tell me what you think. And I will see you guys next time. I want to share with you about the hidden ones from Psalms 83. Okay, God bless you. Bye-bye.